let's get to our last guest of the morning. We've got John Vaccaro with us, founder at PalletTrader. And John, did you guys have a demo yesterday, or are y'all up today?
It's tomorrow.
Okay, all right. So PalletTrader demo tomorrow. Let's give the people what they want, a sneak peek. Talk to us a little bit about PalletTrader.
All right. First of all, before I could talk to you about PalletTrader, I've got to speak to you about our company before. PalletTrader is a brand new launch. We just launched it two weeks ago. It's been in development for 3.5 years. But our company is Bettaway Supply Chain Services. Family business. We've been in business for over 40 years as a supply chain company, and we were manufacturers prior to that. So in order to give you the basis of why PalletTrader and how it came up, we've got a 3PL, national 3PL we've been running since 1988, a nationwide network. We have an asset-based fleet that we run on both coasts, and our niche product has always been a national managed pallet program. Big word, right? So what does that mean? What you have is, in freight, there's 3PLs. 3PLs are a single source for shippers to go to for trucking. That doesn't exist in the pallet space, never has. Pallet is decentralized. There's a lot of independent, mom and pop. There's about 1,500 to 2,000 pallet depots throughout the United States. So early on, we were innovative because before there was rental pallets, there was pallet exchange. And truckers had the burden of pallets. So we created that for our key beverage customers, for Arizona, Snapple, Vitamin Water, Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, where we would actually provide them the pallets. So we became a national pallet provider. In doing that, we built a network of over 500 pallet depots. No one else could say that. So we're a company. Bettaway Pallet Systems is a company you could come to today. We've been doing this for years, the technology and all, and we could be your national pallet provider. Just the way a trucking company or a 3PL would source. So we have this great network. We built a lot of technology around it. And as I was going out throughout the years, I saw that there was this great thirst of companies to have a single point pallet provider, right? So we'd go in and we would pitch them. They'd love the fact that we're EDI. They love the fact that we have technology, that we're a single source. But then the bid would come. And sometimes we'd win, but then you'd hear, you're not the cheapest in every location, right? It's like freight. You're not the cheapest in every lane. We want everything. We want all the technology, but we're going to keep this, and this, and you could have this. But what I left there hearing was there was a thirst for the technology and the single reach, but it just wasn't connecting. So I knew that there was an untapped opportunity in pallets. I wasn't kind of sure how to go about it. Was it to be the national brokerage? And then pre-pandemic, I started really thinking about it and kicking into gear. You could buy anything online, but you can't buy a pallet, right? Pallets, and this is really going to get to you. Up and down this corridor, all there are technology companies for transportation. Every piece of freight moves on a pallet. Pallets is as big as transportation and bigger because it's not only truck, it's sea, it's ocean. So here's this mega industry that's being ignored, right? So I felt there's an opportunity, and you can't buy anything online. So I said, as I was developing the thought, I said, well, there's only two ways this could go. You could either become the online mega brokerage, or you could create a platform. Now, since we have relationships and I really love the pallet industry, I figured let's make this an open marketplace. The other thing pallets doesn't have, it doesn't have a CAS. There's no index to say what should it cost. There's no DAT, there's no load board to put extra loads on. So a lot of the pallet depots are still operating 1988 style, fax machines and cell phones. It's all deconnected. So I started thinking about it. I said, wow, at this point, do I really want to make a leap and go into a different business, right? But here's what came over me quickly. If I don't do this, someone else is going to. And I'm tired of being disrupted by the flavor of the day, right? There's a whole alley of people here who are all looking at our freight business saying how we disrupt it. And I'm like, we can be the leader of it. So we decided to create PalletTrader. And I really wasn't big into social media until recently because I had to be for this. I like to be shy, but I like to buy things online. So I was an eBay user. I was a LinkedIn user. So I looked at an Amazon user, so when we developed PalletTrader, I said we could do the best of all worlds here. Number one, let's make an open marketplace, so that's what it is. The other thing is a lot of people want to keep their current relationships, as we know in trucking, and they don't want anybody to see it. So there's a lot of fear, don't put my stuff out on a board. So like LinkedIn and other things, we created a private area. So basically for companies who have large networks like the beverage industry and they have independent bottlers, they could use PalletTrader to transact all their regular business right through there. So it's a TMS for pallets. I haven't gotten a great acronym yet for pallet management system, right? Because it doesn't work. But now they have the system, they have a single source, and they have reach. Okay?
this is one of those things where you're, like you said, like you got to do it before someone else does. Because when I'm thinking about this, I'm like, why doesn't this exist? Why is
That's a great idea.
There's not been one person who has not said that yet, and we're in the space. So the thing that separates us is we're in this space for a lot of years, and we have the trust of a lot of depots. So each one of them, when we met with them, they're all jaw drops. So think about meeting with the first trucking companies and telling them about a TMS, right? It was, it's like that moment.
So I want to ask you really quickly, John, I want to talk a little bit about the sustainability when it comes to a pallet exchange system like this, or having this open marketplace for pallets. Is this something that really adds little extra sustainability to the pallet market when you're talking about being able to see everybody's opportunities, see what they're costing, and kind of just make a more sustainable piece of the industry?
Absolutely. So PalletTrader is good for, and when I thought it through, it's good from the small little shopping center that's got 20 behind them to a national P&G, right? It's on all sides of it because everyone does it. But what it does is, we're in the business, is you have the 40 by 48 pallet, which is the general size one that most people use, but half the business is all special and odd size pallets. What happens is people make those pallets because they fit their product. They ship them, they build them, they ship them one way, and then they're lost. They're lost in the supply chain. They're odd, so they wind up being cut up for scrap or other reasons. The whole idea of PalletTrader, you could get it, it's matching. You know, and it's not like it's ones or twos. You have people that create tens of thousands of special size pallets one way, and they wind up all over. Now, if you give people, you know, think about from the bottle collectors. What I think about is down to the smallest person with one pallet. If they knew they could pick that up and find it's, you know, and get money for it, $5 for it, people are picking up cans and bottles for a nickel and a dime. And that's not disparaging, but that's what they're doing. It created that, right? So now if you could do that, you know, think what happened with Uber, the empowerment of people. But then on a national level, it'll help companies who have those unique size pallets reach out to the entire pallet industry and say, I'm looking for 32 by 48 pallets. If you have them, I'm the person to see. So sustainability, heck yeah. It's going to help create, you know, it's really the dawn of, think about what TMSs did in load boards. It was all about connecting. I'm going this way, you're going that way. So same type.
I think that's a great, point there, because when you say, I think in only times of how many times there's been a pallet or, you know, so many pallets that's just tossed to the side that no one knows about that could be used. Yeah. And
it's money. I mean, they're worth more than bottles and cans. Those are worth $5 and $10 each, but there they are, right?
Yeah.
They're planter holders in a gas station, right?
Or they're porch swings on your porch.
That's it. Yep.
Recycling. John, so before we let you go, we got to get out of here in just a few minutes. You mentioned that you guys don't have a booth, but you do have
No,
a,
we do have a
you do
booth.
have a booth.
Yes.
Okay, so y'all do have a booth. You've got a demo tomorrow as well, but where can people find you on the floor today or tomorrow?
Well, we're at the dead end right across from the cafeteria, right?
Perfect.
So,
Oh, the perfect place
so that's
to
a little
go.
shout out. So at least, you know, we're looking at it, we're down at a dead end, but the good thing is come mealtime, everybody's got a file in and pass.
There
so
you
when,
go.
So when you're leaving out, not when you're hungry on the way in, but when you're coming out, you can stop by and learn more
And
about
you know
it.
what? Bring them some lunch while you're at it. These
right.
folks at the demo booths, they're working hard. They're on their feet. They are talking to you all day long. They deserve a little bit of lunch too.
Okay.
John, thank you so much for
You're
joining us
welcome.
up here for FreightWaves Now. We will see you later on during F3.
Yes, thank you.